The Honest to God series with Aingeal Rose and Ahonu.
You are all very, very welcome. I am Ahonu, and with me is my lovely Aingeal Rose. People are demanding answers.
Basically exposing the truth.
For us to explore in more detail today.
This is the time period of truth being exposed, of all the unhealed stuff coming out.
So make sure you tune in. You can subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and on our website at worldofempowerment.com.
Don't miss an episode. Hit the subscribe button now.
You are very welcome. I am Ahonu, and this is my lovely Aingeal Rose. And we have a very serious subject coming to you today. And we're going to try and deal with it in the lightest possible way, because there has been some very interesting revelations and understandings arising out of a very recent gallbladder surgery that I've had. The big brave Ahonu tried not to go into hospital last Saturday night, and Aingeal Rose put my clothes on and made me go into the hospital. And thankfully she did, because it was quite serious. And I may have said it before, it didn't seem to me to be life-threatening at the time, but it could have been, had I continued the bravado. So I'm glad that I listened to her and allowed her to persuade me to go in and get the expert treatment that I needed. And I can't say enough for those hospital people, but there'll be more about that in a few minutes, because there's been some interesting revelations also about that whole process. But what we want to try and cover here is the fact that there's so much suffering in the world, and my gallbladder was like a small indicator to me of the suffering that's going on in my life in terms of the microcosm and the macrocosm. So there must be suffering going on in the macrocosm if I'm perceiving things that way. But the single biggest thing that was coming out of all of this, and the most frightening thing for me, was a realization that there was no recognition of the work that my organs had done to keep me alive and nurtured and healthy during the time when it was in my body. And what I'd like you to do right now is just have a listen to a recording that Aingeal Rose and I made on the night after the surgery. And please let me apologize in advance, because it is pillow talk. There's the two of us who were awoken from a deep sleep, and I in great pain. And it's also us being vulnerable, and it's us being in pain about the whole thing. So with that understanding, have a listen to this, and then we're going to come back, because we want to move forward to do a little ceremony. We want to do a little sacred, what would you call it, Aingeal Rose?
Well, it's a sacred fire ceremony.
A sacred fire ceremony.
A releasement ceremony.
A releasement ceremony is exactly
And an
what we're
honoring ceremony.
Yeah, because there's stuff about the past to understand. When we play this little clip, there's a lot of unresolved past issues.
So I was in a deep dream, and the dream was I was in a war zone, and I was like standing on a tank armoured vehicle, and there was all these other soldier colleagues around me also standing on the tank, and there was all those who were like foot soldiers walking along with it, and we were being attacked. And so there was this hand-to-hand combat going on, and it was quite vicious. There was the guys were being shot, others were being physically brought to the ground and stabbed, and there was all kinds of bloody mayhem going on. But one of the things that really stuck out to me about it was that there were several occasions with that where we didn't know who we were fighting, and the others didn't know who they were fighting either. There was confusion about who was who, and there were several times where somebody would look twice at somebody in the face to see, am I killing the right person here?
Right.
Yeah, that was notable, and I kind of immediately put two and two together, whether it was right or not. But saying that this is like a cancer. This is like the body not knowing what cells to attack and what not to. Do you know how to preserve itself, and killing the wrong thing, and confusion over who was good and who was evil, and that kind of thing. What it meant in the bigger picture, I don't know, but that was the scene with which this whole thing was set, right? So the next thing, I'm in a time period that was obviously in the Dark Ages, and I know that because people were in carts going along, being pulled by horses and donkeys and mules and carriages and things. But what was significant was that there was dead bodies all along the side of the road, and the dead bodies were being left there because people didn't have the knowing to respect life or death. They just didn't know. So, if somebody died from natural causes, whatever it might be, they were just left there, and they were being dumped. They were just pushed off to the side of the road so that life went on. And there was no respect for the person who had died, for their life, or what had happened to them, or nothing. It was no ritual, no ceremony, no nothing. Weirdest thing about this is, I'm asleep, so I'm dreaming this, but I'm trying to analyze it at the same time, which was kind of bizarre. And what I realized was that the same thing is going on right now with our body parts. And there was a part of me cut out and just being dumped to the side of the road, metaphorically speaking, with no respect for its function or the life it lived or the part it played. Just cut out and discarded, So what it was telling me was that, while this has to do with me, it actually has to do with the whole world. It happens all over the world. There are surgeries taking place, or there are babies taken from mothers, or stillbirths, or what, and they're just discarded. It's like Dark Ages understanding, or lack of understanding. So what this led me to do was that I got to have a funeral tomorrow. And I know this is bizarre, but it is out of honouring the whole and understanding that each part plays a part in the whole, and to respect and honour the work that each part does to maintain the whole, and that its life shouldn't be forgotten or discarded in that way, and that a little ceremony is a good thing to honour that.
Right.
And then it can be let go into the universe of creation again. But without that recognition, or without that honour, or without that understanding, it's like continuing to live in the Dark Ages. Do you know what I'm saying? It's kind of weird.
I understand it.
Do you understand?
Absolutely.
Does it make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's what I have to do tomorrow. And
I said that's the reason why I thought it would have been nice to have the stones, because you could look at them as a symbol of everything you were forgiving, and honor them. Okay, they symbolized what you're letting go of and what you're transforming, and in terms of getting them out, it's considered a biohazard, so they don't open the they don't open the gallbladder at all. They just take it out,
Yeah. But I'm looking at this.
I understand it completely. Yeah, I do.
I'm looking at it from a bigger picture. As I said, there's me in my surgery, but look at the numbers of operations that are taking place in the world all over every day, millions and millions and millions and millions. And all these body parts just being discarded, just being disposed of. and I'm seeing it as being a tragedy.
Well, I understand. That's what the grief's about.
It's a grief. It's a horrible grief.
It is grief. It's a loss.
It's a loss. It really is.
But so yeah, it's a death of sorts. It's a death
Yeah.
of a part of yourself. Right?
Yeah. But it's a death.
Even if you think of them, whatever they do with it, whether they burn it or what, it's still something that if you had thought about it and if it was legally allowed, at least they used to be allowed to take it home, you see, and bury it or something. And that should be the case. Like, when you think of all the women's breasts that get cut off too and just get thrown away, and
Right.
what a magical symbol the breasts are, really,
Right. Yeah. What I'm saying is that it's an ignorance that's in the world, like in the Dark Ages. It's like nothing has progressed in that sense,
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I do understand it.
And it's a big forgiveness. It's a big recognition. It's a big honouring. Is what's needed, and that's what we got to do.
So how do you want to do it? Do you have any idea?
Well, it was kind of vaguely coming to me too that because that body parts is gone now, and so it is for so many others too, that can't be physically recovered. So it would have to be done by way of a proxy or by way of a symbol. So there would be a symbol that we...
Well, you can print out a picture of a gallbladder.
Or print out a picture or whatever it might be, but it would have to be done symbolically. But the ceremony would be prayer of everlasting life, of immortality, of recognition, of honour, of memory. And then it can be let go. It's not like you're holding on to something and trying to keep it around. It's
a completion.
It's a completion, yes. It's a completion, and it's a respect for its function and its purpose and its the part it played. And
that's sure I understand completely.
Yeah, that's what I have to do.
So some of the surgical names of the procedures are even interesting, like colectomy, hysterectomy, lumpectomy, nephrectomy, pancreotomy, tonsillectomy. And interestingly, before Christmas we did a recording of a Sacred Earth Waters, I think, or it might have been a crop circle essence, where that word ect came up all the time, as in these surgical procedures, colectomy, hysterectomy. Anyway, it has deeper meaning. But a lot of people will connect with these procedures. And what we want to do now is we want to go into some expressions of gratitude for ourselves, but also on behalf of people who haven't recognized that there was a huge loss that went on here for their own procedures that took place. And for me, certainly, I want to say thank you to Aingeal Rose, thank you to the people in the hospital, even down to the guy, the gurney wheeler. They were all so helpful, they were so personal, they were so willing. I can't think of enough words to praise that whole help. Well, I'm sorry that our video crashed on us a short time ago and we weren't able to finish what we had set out to say with the two of us here, and unfortunately Aingeal Rose had to go. But the important thing is that I'm fully recovered from the operation. Everything is perfect now as far as that goes. The people were fantastic. The hospital was absolutely brilliant, and I'm feeling 100% and back on my feet again. But the lesson did not go unheeded. It was a very, very important lesson. And for that reason, we have actually kept our Christmas tree up longer than we would normally do. And what we've done is we've turned it into a manifesting tree effectively, and a gratitude tree. And we've put little notes on that tree that we bless every day. And one of those things that we've put on there is almost like a stone in a cemetery, where you would put something up that's, in a sense, a memory of somebody that has died. And I put the little gallbladder onto the tree and said, I'm grateful. I appreciate you, everything that you've done, and I am not forgetting you. Not that it's going to be on that tree forever, but the important thing is that I'm recognizing the gratitude that I feel, and I know that it also is reciprocating in terms of the sense of life that's going on. It's like a growth of awareness. It's an acceptance, and it's a gratitude for everything that has happened. So there's a lot of really powerful life lessons that were learned in the last couple of weeks because of this. And I just wanted to share that with you, and to let you know that whatever might be going on in your life too, that there will be deep spiritual lessons to be learned if you inquire into them. And the key to that, of course, is to not dismiss anything too easily. Journal about it, that's a key. And we have our own little journaling course that we teach people how to do that, to inquire into all these little things that are going on. And in that way, you'll find your own psychic ability growing, because you'll be growing in awareness. So I hope you enjoyed that. I'm sorry if I sounded a little bit preachy about it, and I didn't intend to be, but it's just that it had such a profound life lesson for me. So I hope it was some help to you. I'm very grateful to you also for listening to us from week to week. We've been at this since 2009, 2010, and we've over 300 YouTube videos up there, and we also have over 300 podcasts, and we appreciate you listening and being with us on this journey of consciousness. So until next time, with huge gratitude and love from myself, Ahonu, and from Aingeal Rose. Bye-bye.
You have been listening to Aingeal Rose and Ahonu on World of Empowerment Radio, your station for practical spirituality in a changing world.